welcome to the Lakehouse West Players' first presentation. Have you ever wished you could step back in time and become someone other than who you are? One way to do it is to become a character in a play by reading from a script. With John Dion and Steve Martin's encouragement, we formed a reading group calling ourselves The Players. When 8 enthusiastic residents took the challenge to put a bit of acting into reading their parts, we were ready to go. It has been a learning experience for each member of the group who don't take their acting ability too seriously, but have been giving their best effort and had fun along the way. Finding suitable monologues and dialogues, many taken out of context from plays, was not an easy task, as most required editing. Keep in mind that some of these short scripts are dated, some comedic, others somewhat overly dramatic. Although they may not meet professional standards, they served us well with this, our very first reading experience. Filming the readings so that we could share them with you was Steve's idea, and it has taken his time, patience, and creative talent to produce it. We have helped the characters come alive with props and background settings. As you watch the film, we suggest you use your most vivid imagination to picture the characters in the monologues and dialogues as being anywhere between 20 and 60 years of age. It has really worked for us, as we're convinced that age is but a number. While we don't intend to disclose our true ages, we will give you a few hints when you meet the players and hear them reveal some personal secrets about themselves. Please welcome the Lakehouse West Players: Marge Alberg, Lowell Brennan, Sue Mandel, Margot Larson, Shirley Critt, Frank Clark, David Stearns, and Barbara Rowe. They will read verses from 2 poems from a collection owned by Danny Davis. The first one is titled, Just a Wonder.
A row of bottles on my shelf causes me to analyze myself.
One yellow pill I have to pop goes to my heart so it won't stop.
A little white one that I take goes to my hands so they won't shake.
The blue ones that I use a lot tell me I'm happy when I'm not.
The purple pill goes to my brain and tells me I have no pain.
The capsules tell me not to wheeze, or cough, or choke, or even sneeze.
The red ones, smallest of them all, go to my blood so I won't fall. The orange ones, big and bright, prevent my leg cramps in the night.
Such an array of brilliant pills helping to cure all kinds of ills. But what we'd really like to know is what tells each pill just where to go.
The second poem is called I'm Fine, How Are You?
There's nothing at all the matter with me. I'm just as healthy as I can be.
I have arthritis in my knees, and when I talk, I often wheeze.
My pulse is weak. My blood is thin. But I'm awfully well for the shape I'm in.
I fear a tooth may soon come out, and my diet I hate to think about.
I'm overweight and I just can't get thin, but I'm awfully well for the shape I'm in.
Arch supports I need for my feet, or I couldn't be able to go out in the street.
Sleep is denied me night after night. But by morning, I find I'm all right. My memory's failing, my head's in a spin, but I'm awfully well for the shape I'm in.
The moral of this, as the tale unfolds, is that for all of us who are growing old, it is better to say, "I'm fine," with a grin, than to let people know the shape we are in.
Thank you all for that insightful introduction. While on the subject of aging, Steve has a favorite poem that he would like to share with you. And now, sit back and enjoy the film.
Welcome to Steve's Masterpiece Theater. Today we'll be examining You Are Old, Father William, made famous in Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white. And yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right? In my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it might injure the brain. But now that I'm perfectly sure I have none, why, I do it again and again. You are old, said the youth, as I mentioned before, and have grown most uncommonly fat. Yet you turned a back somersault in at the door. Pray, what was the reason for that? In my youth, said the sage, as he shook his gray locks, I kept all my limbs very supple. By the use of this ointment, 1 shilling a box. Allow me to sell you a couple. You are old, said the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finished the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, said his father, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife, and the muscular strength that it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life. You are old, said the youth, and one would hardly suppose that your eye was as steady as ever. Yet you balanced an eel on the end of your nose. Pray, what made you so awfully clever? I have answered 3 questions, and that is enough, said his father. Don't give yourself airs. Do you think I can listen all day to such stuff? Be off, or I'll kick you downstairs.
The first dialogue is called Less Soap, More Blood by Joseph Arnone. An actress walks into her agent's office to complain to him about his not getting her better parts in plays.
Roma, dear, how are you?
Oh, come off it. Don't give me that happy Roma dear stuff.
What's wrong?
You know what's wrong, Greg. I want to work. I need to work or I'm going to explode out of my mind. I'm sick of these 2-word, 3-word lines at these horrible auditions. I can't even get a full sentence nowadays. Am I not good enough for a full sentence at an audition?
No, obviously you're upset.
Upset? I'm angry, Greg. We've been working together for 2 years. 2 years and all you send me out on are soap commercials.
Well, even Ingmar Bergman, one of the most revered filmmakers of all time, made soap commercials during his career.
Don't give me that crap. You think comparing me to some great foreign director is going to somehow make me feel ecstatic about doing a soap commercial?
Well, to be honest, if you can calm down and give me a second, I have some interesting news to tell you. To be honest, I was just about to call you and tell you some good news. It may not be the news that you would be expecting or happy to hear right now, but your ears must have been ringing.
Just spit it out before I die from suspense.
Well, I received a call today, and as it turns out, there's a director who wants to cast you into something, but before you get crazy, let me just say it's a wonderful opportunity. He's a good director. His short film just got into Sundance.
Greg, tell me what it's for right now.
It's a soap commercial.
A what?
Soap commercial.
I see.
Roma, dear, let me put things into perspective.
Gregory, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. Is my work as an actress going to consist of being literally a soap star? I have 5 different soap brands sending me free boxes of their product to my home each month. I have enough soap to cleanse all of Hollywood for an entire year.
I know, but if you take this gig, it will be good for you.
For you. It will be good for you. I'm making you money and you're killing my career before it even gets started. What the hell did I do theater for 10 years for? I played Lady Macbeth. I killed myself over that role. Those lines still penetrate my brain. Blood on my hands. I can't take this degrading industry anymore. You better do something for me, and you better do it fast. I need something I can sink my fangs into. Give me some meat. I'm a vicious, hungry bitch, and I want to work on a role that will actually show what the hell I'm capable of giving.
When you do this commercial, they need to know today.
Yes, since I know I'm needed. Gregory, but this is the last one. The very last one. After this, I want something more. Give me less soap, more blood.
Celandine by Donna Spector. Celandine, age 30, cultured and melodramatic, speaks to her mother about why she has never married.
I don't need men anymore. I did, I admit, spend years looking for my perfect mate. I wanted someone who appreciated who I am, someone who to cook for, who would love to hear me read said Edna St. Vincent Millay by candlelight, and who will read me stories and bring me breakfast on Sundays. Someone who will hold me when I'm afraid and when I feel lonely. But now, I understand these are adolescent fantasies. I don't need a man wrapped around me in bed, warming the sheets on a freezing night. I am perfectly content to eat alone with an isolated glass of wine to keep me feeling calm and relaxed. I don't mind opening doors by myself or wearing clothes that I know are not attractive to men. What if I get no love letters and the phone stays silent for all the time? I shall never have a broken heart or cause to be jealous. Men always disappoint you. And I choose to be disappointed with no one but myself. And this is freedom in this decision. I am finally able to be responsible for my own existence. I embrace the status quo, and I shall die unremittingly alone and in the old rotting house by the sea.
Knockout by Lisa Bruno, award winner playwright. Meet Morty and Liv, a couple in their 60s, on vacation and having just arrived in their hotel room. She is hoping he will be in a romantic mood, but it seems to be far from his mind as he struggles to find a TV program that he really wants to watch.
I cannot find CNN. This happens every time we stay in a hotel.
I hung the do not disturb sign on the door so you can get comfy.
Why can't they stick with the same reliable channel numbers like back in the old days?
What are you looking for?
I remember when Channel 4 was NBC. You could stake your life on it. Channel 7 was ABC, Channel 9 was CBS, And UHF was for old Jerry Lewis movies.
What do you want to watch news for anyway? We said we needed this getaway to relax.
I'm looking for a headline. I need an update on the crisis overseas so I know how much our portfolio's getting hit.
Sweetie, we're on vacation. Just relax.
I can't relax, Liz, because guess what? Money never sleeps.
I'm just afraid you're not going to enjoy this weekend. You already look stressed.
And you look gorgeous, baby. As pretty as the day I met you.
Oh, Morty.
I'm serious, honey. I don't care about that forehead wrinkles or those flabby arms. You're still a knockout in my book.
Hey, Morty, do you remember when I had those migraines last week and I stayed in bed all day watching TV? You want to know what I learned that I never knew before? I found out there's a whole bunch of married couples in this world who want to kill each other.
Is that right?
100% right. I learned it from this TV show called Flipped Out. It's a crime show where the wife literally kills her husband.
Ouch!
Yeah, there's this one woman who killed her husband with antifreeze. Everyone thought he had the flu. And by the way, these are true stories, Morty. Real true stories. They sure do make you wonder about things like maybe you don't even really know the person lying next to you in bed.
No, Liv, I genuinely do not know why you're asking me such an outrageous question. Out of the blue.
Out of the blue? Okay, maybe if you would listen to me for once in your
Honey,
life.
that's all I do is listen to you.
That's funny, because that's not what I heard.
Because, as usual, you only hear what you want to hear. Damn it! This is unbelievable. I cannot find a news program to save my life.
Do you even care what my answer would be, Morty?
Sure, baby. But first, would you mind taking a stab at finding CNN before I lose my mind?
I see, so it's all that.
Yes, Liv, that's all I got. Meanwhile, this TV's got 900 plus channels, and I can't find a goddamn news program.
So you're really going to make this all about you?
How's this all about me? Look, I said I'm not going to kill you, didn't I? Isn't that enough for you?
Oh, I don't know, Morty. Just off the top of the head, I might suggest something like, no, darling, I would never kill you. I love you. And I would never, ever kill a woman though I love.
Open your ears, Liz. That's exactly what I did say.
That's what you said, huh? Really, Morty?
Because as usual, you only hear what you want to hear. Jesus, where's that station? I cannot find a news program to save my life.
Do you even care what my answer would be, Morty?
Sure, baby. But first, would you mind taking a stab at finding CNN before I lose my mind again? Liv.
I'm done.
What? What? Liv, baby, talk to me. Liv, please, Liv.
The Promise of You by Daniel Martine, young British writer. After many years of being apart, Carolyn meets her former lover Bobby, who would like to come back to her. She tells him why it's too late.
How long have we known each other, Bobby? 25 years? Since we were Miss Daniel's first grade class together. Remember, we saw each other nearly every day through high school. And if we didn't see each other, we'd talk on the phone. You were my bestest friend, Bobby. And you were definitely my first boyfriend. You gave me my first kiss. We were 16 and we thought it would be forever, even when we occasionally dated other people. I always knew you were the one. It was written in the stars, you said. Remember the night you said that? That was the night we first made love together. But what I remember most about that night was the feeling that we were the only people on the earth. The stars were out and it seemed like they were winking directly at us. It was the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. Somehow it all changed when we graduated. You went away to college, I went to school at home. And suddenly we hardly saw each other anymore. You were always so busy with school and other things. I guess I tried to understand, but it was hard, Bobby. When all of a sudden the person you love with all your heart is not there anymore, it is quite difficult to take. Then one day, out of the blue, 5 years later, you called to tell me you're getting married. And you wanted to invite me to the wedding because I was your best friend. And you wanted to share your happiness with me. And silly me, I went. Watching you marry a complete stranger was the most difficult thing I had to do. Eventually, I got over it. Time heals all wounds, they say. So over time, I had a couple of longest relationships, but I never felt about them the way I felt about you, Bobby. The promise that our love was truly written in the stars, just like you said. Stupid me, I believed you. Well, we're all grown up now, and I realize the things people say to each other when they are young and in love are sometimes just fairy tales. But here's one thing, Bobby. Time doesn't heal all wounds. It only numbs them to a point that sometimes we can forget about them for a while. And now, here you are again. You've come back into my life, telling me you still love me, that we can finally be together like it says in the stars. But the heart's a curious thing, Bobby. It's a repository for a lifetime of feelings. Out of sight, out of mind, maybe, but never forgotten. That's where our love is, Bobby, buried deep. And the only thing it remembers now is the promise of you.
The Dating Agency by Andrew Biss, award-winning English playwright. We're at Mr. Loveworth's Happy Endings Dating Agency when Leslie, a young but rather unattractive lady, arrives. She is desperate, hoping he will arrange for her to meet a nice man.
Hello, you must be Leslie.
Yes, and you must be Mr. Loveworth.
Right again. Do come in.
Well, thank you.
Firstly, let me say welcome to the Happy Endings Dating Agency, where love isn't just a dream, it's a genuine reality.
Well, thank you.
Please do take a seat, Leslie.
Well, you're different than I imagined you to be.
How so?
Well, I don't know, something in your voice. I imagined you taller.
I do have a tall voice, that's true.
Yes, you do.
So what brings you to my humble and somewhat old-fashioned establishment?
Well, boredom, I suppose. Boredom with my non-existing love life. It's like there's a void inside of me that needs filling. I admit I did try a few of those online agencies first, but all felt so anonymous and so cold.
You don't have to explain to me, Leslie. We here at Happy Endings are quite aware that when it comes to love, there's no substitute for the personal touch. Now there's absolutely no reason to lose heart. You simply need to pay mind to how others perceive you.
But I don't know how to do anything other than just be me.
And Leslie, therein lies the problem.
But this is it. This is me.
But it's not enough, you see. It's not enough to being just you in this day and age.
Why and ever not?
Look, Leslie, I'm trying to help you achieve your goals, but if I'm to do so, you're going to confront some uncomfortable truths. That's one of them. Every aspect of your being has to be cultivated and contrived. Nothing can be left to chance. The way you dress, the way you walk, the way you smile, the way you talk. All of it has to be performed with absolute precision in order to create the real you, the one who closes the deal. Then and only then will you become someone truly viable in today's fickle and uncertain market.
Can't someone just love me for who I am?
But if you don't know who you are, what's to love?
What do you want me to know?
Let me put it this way. Let's say I send you out to meet a very nice gentleman who you find yourself very attracted to. And the evening you attracted to, and the next evening you anxiously await his call. He meantime tells his friends that you define the word dull. Your hair reminds him of his grandmother's. You have an annoying smile. And worst of all, he could never get used to looking at your nose. Oy vey.
Oh my
You
goodness.
see what I mean?
Oh, it's all way too much. I can't listen to any more.
Incidentally, that nose of yours, have you ever considered surgery?
Oh, that's it. I've got to go. I've had it. I've had it.
I was only trying or going to suggest a slight change in...
This is ridiculous. I am sorry, but I've had enough.
I've hurt your feelings?
I'm devastated.
Look, let's not overreact. I'm here to help.
Yes, you have. You really have.
Good. Now let's sit down and work this out.
No, I'm leaving.
Now?
I should never have come.
What about finding someone to love you?
Well, I'll never find it here. This is a hating, not a dating agency.
Rose Morant by Elma Rice, Pulitzer Prize playwright. Meet Rose, living in New York in the 20s, who's about to move away and end a long-time romantic relationship she's had with her neighbor Sam.
Well, I haven't really had any time to do much thinking, but I really think the best thing I could do would be to get out of New York. You know, like we were saying this morning, how things might be different if you only had a chance to breathe and spread out a little. Only when I said it, I never dreamt it would ever be this way. I like you so much, Sam. I like you better than anybody I know. It would be so nice to be with you. You're different from anybody I know, but I'm just wondering how it would work out. There are lots of things to be considered. Suppose something was to happen. Well, suppose I was to have a baby. That sometimes happens, even when you don't want it to. What would we do then? We'd be tied down then for life, just like all the other people around here. They all start loving each other and thinking everything is going to be fine. And before you know it, they find out they haven't got a thing and they wish they could do it all over again. Only it's too late. It's what you said just now about people belonging to each other. I don't think people ought to belong to anybody but themselves. I was thinking that if my mother had really belonged to herself, and if my father had really belonged to himself, it never would have happened. It was only because they were always depending on somebody else for what they ought to have had inside themselves. Do you see what I mean, Sam? That's why I didn't want to belong to anybody, and why I don't want anybody to belong to me. I want love more than anything else in the world, but loving and belonging aren't the same thing, Sam dear. Listen, if we say goodbye now, it doesn't mean that it has to be forever. Maybe someday, when we're older and wiser, things will be different. Don't look as if it was the end of the world, Sam. It isn't. Sam, if you'd only believe in yourself a little more, things wouldn't look nearly so bad. Because once you're sure of yourself, the things that happen to you aren't as important. The way I look at it, it's not what you do that matters, it's what you are. I'm so fond of you, Sam. And I've got such a lot of confidence in you. But it's time we need to part. And Sam, all I can say is goodbye.
Nora and Helmer, taken from Henrik Ibsen's Dollhouse. This script is typical of 19th century life, when Nora, Helmer's seemingly perfect wife, realizes she no longer loves her husband and confronts him with the reasons she is unhappy.
You've never loved me. You've only thought it pleasant to be in love with me. It's perfectly true. When I was at home with Papa, he told me his opinions about everything, and so I had the same opinions. And if I differed from him, I concealed the fact, because he would not have liked it. He called me his doll child, and he played with me just as I used to play with my dolls. And when I came to live with you, I mean that I was simply transferred from Papa's hands into yours. You arranged everything according to your own taste, and so I got the same taste as yours. Else I pretended to. I'm really not quite sure which. I think sometimes one and sometimes the other. When I look back on it, it seems to me as if I had been living here like a poor woman, just from hand to mouth. I've existed merely to perform tricks for you. But you would have it so. You and Papa have committed a great sin against me. It's your fault that I've made nothing of my life.
Calm yourself, and make your mind at ease again, my frightened little singing bird. Be at rest and feel secure, 'cause I have broad wings under which to shelter you. How warm and cozy our home is, Nora. Here is shelter for you. Here I will protect you like a hunted dove that I have saved from a hawk's claw. I will bring peace to your poor beating heart. It will come little by little. Nora, believe me. Tomorrow morning you will look upon it all quite differently. Soon everything will be just as it was before. Very soon you won't need me to assure you that I have forgiven you. You will yourself feel the certainty that I have done so. Can you suppose I should ever think of such a thing as repudiating you or even reproaching you? You have no idea what a true man's heart is like. Nora, there's something so indescribably sweet and satisfying to a man in the knowledge that he has forgiven his wife, forgiven her freely and with all his heart. It seems as if he had made her, as it were, doubly his own. He has given her a new life, so to speak, and she has in a way become both wife and child to him. So you shall be for me after this, my little scared, helpless darling. Have no anxiety about anything, none. Only be frank and open with me, and I will serve as will and conscience to you forever.
Kramer versus Kramer, based on a novel by Avery Corman. Joanna, who was recently divorced, and had abandoned her son, is standing before a judge pleading with him to let her regain custody of him.
Look, during the last 5 years of our marriage, I was scared and I was very unhappy. And in my mind, I had no other choice but to leave. And at the time I left, I felt that there was nothing, that was simply terribly wrong with me, and that my son would be better off without me. And it was only after I got to California that I realized, after getting into therapy, that I wasn't such a terrible person. And just because I needed some kind of creative or emotional outlet other than my child, that didn't make me unfit to be a mother. I know I left my son. I know that's a terrible thing to do. Believe me, I have to live with that every day of my life. But in order to leave him, I had to believe that it was the only thing I could do, and that it was the best thing for him. However, I have since gotten some help, and I have worked very, very hard to become a whole human being. And I don't think I should be punished for that, and I don't think my little boy should be punished. Billy's only 7 years old. He needs me. I'm not saying he doesn't need his father, but I really believe he needs me more. I was his mommy for 5.5 years, and Ted took over that role for 18 months. But I don't know how anyone can possibly believe that I have less of a stake in mothering that little boy than Mr. Kramer does. I'm his mother. I'm his mother.
Dr. Cluster, Dr. Glenn, by Susan Goodell. Let's listen in on a conversation between two eccentric doctors who are discussing their newly developed wonder drug that they think will revolutionize medicine and are about to reveal it at a medical conference.
Hey, Clem, what time is it?
45 minutes to your presentation.
Don't tell me that.
But you...
Never mind, we're ready for this, aren't we? We are ready. Look at this. What's this on the front page of our report?
What? Where?
Carrageenan, right there.
That's what you told me to write.
No. I'd never tell you Carrageenan. I told you palmitate.
But Dr. Custer, I'm starting to wonder...
I don't like it when you wonder.
I just think...
I will not postpone this thing. I will not. That's what you were going to say, isn't it?
But Doctor...
Everyone wants to undermine me. You want to undermine me. And you're my most trusted colleague.
I'm trying to tell you...
Look, you do understand, don't you, the prestige that Flavonite N will give us? What this will mean to our futures. This is going to be the most memorable hour of your life. Tell me how much you're anticipating it.
I am anticipating this.
I hope that was sincere.
Doctor, I'm with you. But some people, they're always skeptics.
They are not skeptics. They're wishing it was them making this announcement today. Hey, should I wear my lab coat jacket or a coat and tie?
Dr. Custer, as I go through our presentation, there are parts of it that
are amazing, right?
That's true, Dr. Custer.
And don't call this a new product. Call it the opening of a new frontier.
Yes, Doctor. But we might have a few typos in there.
Why'd you say that?
Well, Dr. Filer's team for one.
Dr. Filer's team. You've been talking to Dr. Filer's team.
They contacted me after the first clinical trials.
And you talked to them?
Well, they found some contradictions.
Well, so what?
They said they didn't believe in anything in your trials, actually.
They just didn't understand it, did they?
It seems like
they didn't understand it, right?
Okay.
Bob, look at the calendar.
It's May.
Exactly. May 7th. I want you to remember May 7th, because May 7th will be forever remembered. The day that Flavanite M was first announced to the public.
It's going to be quite a day.
You know the problem, people just can't believe in this product.
They didn't believe the product at all.
They say we couldn't develop a treatment that offers weight loss, overcoming depression, curing shyness, dust mite immunity, and dry mouth therapy. 1 spoonful a day. Well, we just did.
We'll have to prove it.
Well, we have, because our thinking's not limited like Dr. Filer's thinking. Dr. Filer's team.
Dr. Custer, did you hear that Dr. Filer's team actually did their own analysis of Flavanite M?
Good for them, good for them.
Their results were...
Leave it to Dr. Filer's team.
Their results were...
Results. I doubt Dr. Filer's team has ever achieved such a thing as a result.
Their results were quite different than our results. In fact, they're claiming that their own compositional analysis, which they plan to announce after your announcement, they're saying that Flavanite M is actually Arachis hypogea.
Of course they get different results. Am I supposed to be surprised?
Dr. Custer, Arachis hypogea is peanut butter.
Jeez.
Mary's Eddie by Y. York. A couple in their 60s are in their living room. She's having a cocktail when he walks in, sounding a bit upset.
Hey, do you know where the checkbook is?
I think it's still in my bag.
Which is where?
On the counter.
You should put it back when you're done with it.
Well, I'm never done with it.
You're not using it now, are you?
But I'll have to go out again soon, won't I? I have to go get beer, potato chips, charcoal, other checkbook items.
If you'd put it back, I wouldn't have to bother you.
You're not bothering me, Eddie. I like these little intimate moments that we have. Oh, where's the checkbook? And have you seen my car keys? And bring me a roll of toilet paper.
Where does it go?
The checkbook, you know where it goes, because that's where you find it, because that's where I put it back when I'm finished with it.
Oh my, oh my. What are you going to buy?
Nothing.
Then why do you need the checkbook?
To keep tab on expenses.
Can't it wait? Aren't you sick of that? Aren't you sick of having to look at numbers all day?
I don't like it to mount up.
Well, it's in my bag.
Is this new?
Do you like it?
I don't know if I like it.
Well, why not? I hope you like it. I can sling it over my shoulders and have it hit my hip a certain way and give me a saucy look. Saucy look. That's what the sales girl said. I made me look saucy.
How much did it cost?
Well, it's a knockoff, Eddie.
What does that mean?
Well, it's about $35.
That much?
35 as opposed to 390? You just don't appreciate me.
Yeah, you might say that. What I would appreciate is for you to know what the hell you're doing, and more important, why you're doing it.
What you want, Eddie, is a perfect wife.
Yeah, and since that's impossible to find, I'll do my best to love you in spite of your shortcomings.
How amusing. I've been trying to do that for years.
Eve's Diary by Mark Twain, written in 1906. This is merely a fantasy about Adam and Eve at the dawn of creation. Eve is in her garden, describing Adam and telling us why she is so enamored of him.
When I look back, the garden is a dream to me. It was beautiful, surpassingly beautiful, enchantingly beautiful, and now it is lost, and I shall not see it anymore. The garden is lost, but I have found him, and am content. He loves me as well as he can. I love him with the strength of my passionate nature, and this, I think, is proper to my sex. If I ask myself why I love him, I find I do not know and do not really care. So I suppose that his kind of love is not a product of reasoning and statistics, like one's love for animals or reptiles. I think it must be so. I love certain birds because of their song, but I do not love Alan on account of his singing. No, it's not that. The more he sings, the more I do not get reconciled to it. Yet I ask him to sing because I wish to learn to like anything he is interested in. I'm sure I can learn, because at first I could not stand it, and now I can. It is not account of his brightness that I love him. No, it's not that. He's not to blame for his brightness, such as it is, for he did not make it himself. He is as God made him, and that is sufficient. It is not on account of his gracious and delicate ways that I love him so. No, he has lacks in this regard, but he's well enough just so. And it's not account of his education that I love him. He is self-educated and does really know a multitude of things. But they are not so. It's not account of his chivalry that I love him. No, it's not that. Then why do I love him? He is strong and handsome, and I love him for that. And I admire him, and I'm proud of him. But I could love him without those qualities. If he were plain, I should love him. If he were a wreck, I should love him. And I would work for him, slave over him, and pray for him, and watch by his bedside until I died. I think I love him merely because he is mine. Mine. There is no other reason, I suppose. And so I think it is as I first said, this kind of love is not a product of reasoning and statistics. It just comes. No one knows when, and it cannot explain itself. And it doesn't need to. That is what I think. But I'm only a girl. And this is the first time that anybody examined this matter. It may turn out that in my ignorance and inexperience, I have not got it right.
Shrivel by Joseph Arnone. Frank is finally rebelling when he's forced to go on his wife Valerie's health food diet.
Isn't this incredible that we are both vegan? I can't believe we've actually gone vegan.
Babe, please. I'm starving.
Oh, come on now. You just have some more salad.
Salad?
Yeah, you need to eat more plant foods, vegetables and fruits.
I'm starving, babe, all right? I feel like I've been eating leaves all day.
Francis, stop it. It's only been 3 days.
3 days? That's
Yep.
all?
Yep.
Hasn't it been a week already? I feel like I'm breaking some sort of record.
Well, I'm very proud of you. How are you going to live such a longer life?
In misery.
What did you say?
I gotta tell you, I'm ready to grab my bow and arrow and shoot down birds in the backyard.
What? Well, that's just horrible. Tell me you're joking.
I'm hungry. Been eating salad that doesn't even look like salad. Looks like leaves.
No, this is baby spinach, honey.
Great. Baby spinach looks like tree leaves. What's next? Going outside and eating dirt?
Well, you have to have discipline.
Discipline? I've gone an entire week with...
3 days.
That's a week if you're Italian, and I feel like I'm shriveling up, Valerie. Shriveling.
What is shriveling?
I feel like I'm shriveling, getting smaller.
Well, you may have something. You mean shriveling?
Same thing.
Well, I'm so happy we're vegan. It's the most amazing thing. I feel light and healthy, and I'm already getting a glowing complexion. You see that you're starting to have real rosy cheeks.
Rosy cheeks? What's rosy cheeks? You sure that's not heart failure?
No, you look more vibrant. You don't feel it? Honestly, you don't feel like you have more energy?
I need to eat protein to have strength. Get me some more chicken peas and...
It's called chickpeas and not chicken peas. It compensates for protein. You know, I can't believe how you go on. That's because you've been given horrible food to eat your whole life.
No, not really. It's because I've eaten meals where you actually need a knife.
You don't have to go vegan with me. Vegan, I can do it by myself.
I just wish there was more options, Val. You know, we go into the store, and it's not even an aisle or a shelf, it's a shelf. The whole shelf out of an entire supermarket for vegan. And it's all stuff that looks like it belongs on a late night infomercial.
Oh, stop.
Oh, come on, the options are limited. Yesterday we ate what looked like hot dogs, but they tasted like inflated rubber bands. Then you take coffee away from me and have me on this green tea, and a man needs coffee.
It's polluting your brain.
Duh.
The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. Cecile, young and pretty, renews her acquaintance with Gwendolyn, who is older and unattractive. Their friendship ends when they discover that they are both about to marry the same man. This is typical of an Oscar Wilde humor.
Pray let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cicely Cardew. What a very sweet name. Something tells me that we are going to be great friends. I like you already more than I can say. My first impressions of people are never wrong.
How nice of you to like me so much after we've known each other such a comparatively short time.
I may call you Cicely, may I not?
With pleasure.
And you will always call me Gwendolyn, won't you?
If you wish.
Then that is all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
Perhaps this might be a favorable opportunity for my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. You have never heard of my papa, I suppose?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so. Outside the family circle, Papa, I am glad to say, is entirely unknown. I think that is quite as it should be, because the home seems to me to be the proper sphere for the man. Do you mind my looking at you through my glasses?
Oh, not at all, Gwendolyn. I'm very fond of being looked at.
Well, you are here on a short trip, I suppose.
Oh, no, I live here.
Really? Your mother, no doubt then, or some female relative of advanced years lives with you?
Oh, no, I have no mother, nor in fact any relatives.
Indeed.
My dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
Oh, it is strange. He never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. I am very fond of you, Cicely. I have liked you ever since I met you, but I am bound to state that now that I know that you are Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot help expressing a wish that you were, well, just a little older than you seem to be, and not quite so alluring in appearances. In fact, if I may speak candidly,
Oh, pray do. I think that whenever anyone has anything unpleasant to say, one should always be candid.
well, to speak with perfect candor, Cicely, I wish that you were fully 42, and more than usually plain for your age. Ernest has a strong, upright nature. He is the very soul of truth and honor. Disloyalty would be as impossible to him as deception. But even men of the noblest possible moral character are extremely susceptible to the influence of the physical charms of others.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn. Did you say Ernest?
Yes,
Oh, but it's not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It's his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
Well, I'm sorry to say they've not been on good terms for a long time.
Ah, that accounts for it. And now that I think of it, I have never heard any man mention his brother. Cicely, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing almost anxious. It would have been terrible if any cloud had come across a friendship like ours, would it not? Of course, you are quite more that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthington who is your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon?
Dearest Gwendolyn, there's no reason why I should make of a secret of it to you. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
My darling Cicely, I think there must be some slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me, and the announcement will appear in the Morning Post on Saturday at the latest.
I am afraid you must be under some misconception. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is certainly very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. I am so sorry, dear Cicely, if it is any disappointment to you, but I am afraid I have the prior claim.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn, if it caused you any mental or physical anguish. But I feel bound to point out that since Ernest proposed to you, he clearly has changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into a foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty then to rescue him at once with a firm hand.
Whatever unfortunate entanglement my dear boy may have gotten himself into, I will never reproach him with it after we're married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion of this kind, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement? How dare you? This is no time for wearing the shallow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I have never seen a spade, and it is obvious that our social spheres have been widely different, and I have nothing more to say to you, and hopefully never will.
Modern Art Modeling by Rod McFadden. This takes place in an artist studio. He is painting his model, who is reluctantly posing in the nude. He promises her the painting will be his masterpiece.
Yes, you can put your clothes on now.
Are you finished?
I'm not quite done, but you can get dressed now. Just a few last details to finish.
I can't wait to see what you painted. What's it called again?
Naked woman.
I really appreciate you letting me do this modeling thing, because I think it's a good step for my actress resume, you know. Even if it is a naked woman modeling. Now, don't get me wrong, because I don't have any problem with like open nudity, but as a member of the Clara Vista Pep Squad, I'm held to a higher standard of morality than your average student. So I couldn't tell anyone about what I've done here.
Please, some quiet. These last touches are critical.
Oh, okay. I know how it is when you're being all artistic and people don't get what you're trying to do.
Yes, and it's the same for me right now. So please, quiet.
Is it done?
Yes, Naked Woman is finished, and you've been part of something historic. This piece will revolutionize modern portrait art.
Well, it's pretty exciting, though I feel a little weird about me hanging there in the art museum all naked and all.
This piece will never hang in the Colfax. I have not created to be displayed in some pedestrian little gallery on a second-rate community college campus. Naked Woman shall hang in the Pompidou, or the Tate, or New York's Modern Art Museum.
Well, I get to take a picture of it for my portfolio, right? I mean, that was the deal.
Yes, of course.
Well, how do I look?
Yours may be the first eyes to gaze upon Naked Woman. Gaze.
Ah, that's not me. There's nothing there.
Careful, careful,
That's the painting?
careful. It is a modern masterwork.
I'm not even in it. I mean, goodness gracious, you didn't paint me at all.
Yes, the negative space subverts the viewer's expectations. It forces him to see something in himself that he's trying to hide.
Yeah, okay, but where am I?
Exactly. Disappointing him, frustrating his voyeuristic tendencies. It forces the viewer to confront his repressed need to treat naked women as an object of his sexual desires.
But there's just that blank space where I'm supposed to be.
Yes, that's the whole point.
Well, it's a stupid point. If you weren't going to put me in the picture, why have I been sitting here with no clothes on every night for the last 2 weeks?
My artistic integrity demanded it. Anyone can paint around a section of blank canvas. To create Naked Woman, I needed to actively omit a real naked woman from the work, so your presence here,
My naked presence.
yes, your actual presence here, but not on the canvas, fills the piece with truth. It elevates Naked Woman to the level of masterwork.
What about my portfolio? How will anyone know it's me?
That's not important. Only the art matters.
You know what I think? I think you're one of those perverts.
I am an artiste.
Yes, a perverted artiste. And I have just one more thing to say to you. Ready? Okay? You think you've made a masterpiece, but you are just a sexual predator.
Requiem for a Dream. A woman who is alone imagines herself speaking to her dead husband about her plans for the future.
Well, of course he gives me pills, Harry. He's a doctor. I lost 25 pounds already. How come you think you know so much, huh? How come you know more than a doctor? Oh, come on. I almost fit in my old red dress, the one I wore to your high school graduation? The one your father liked so much? Oh, do I remember how he looked at me in that red dress. I'm going to wear it when I... Oh, wait a minute. I didn't tell you. You don't know. I'm going to be on television. I got a call and an application. No. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to be a contestant on television. I don't know when yet, and they didn't tell me. But you'll see. It's a big deal. Honey, I'm somebody now. And everybody likes me, Harry. Soon, millions of people will see me and they'll all like me. And I'll tell them about you and about your father and how good he was to us. Do you remember? It's a reason to get up in the morning. It's a reason to lose weight, to fit into that red dress. It's a reason to smile. And it makes tomorrow all right. What have I got, Harry? Why should I even make the bed or wash the dishes? I do them, but why should I? I'm alone. And your father's gone, and you're gone, and I've got no one to care for. What have I got? What have I got, Harry? I'm lonely, I'm old, and I got friends, but it's not the same. They don't need me. But I like the way I feel now. I like thinking about the red dress, and the television, and you, and your father. Now, when I get up in the morning, I smile.
Most of the scripts that have been read may be less than memorable. However, this last poem is the exception. It is called The True Meaning of Life by Pat Fleming, a retired social worker whose words of wisdom should be an inspiration to us all.
The True Meaning of Life by Pat Fleming, a retired social worker. The years pass us by in the blink of an eye as moments of sadness and joy have flown by. People we have loved have come and have gone, and though we are missed, we have still carried on. Life wasn't easy when the struggles were there. There were times when it mattered and times we just didn't care. We stood on our own and still found our way through nights filled with tears and dawn of each day. And now, as we age, it's become very clear what once was important is not why we are here. We think of the things we've managed to buy that never really made us feel better inside, and the worries and the fears that plagued us each day, in the end of it all, would just fade away. It's how we reached out when we knew we were needed that was the true measure of how we succeeded. And what we have shared of our soul and our heart has ultimately been what has set us apart. So what's real important to you and to me is whether or not we're the best we can be, and how much more kindness and love we can show before it's too late and it's our time to go.
And now, on behalf of the players, we thank you for coming, and we hope you've enjoyed watching the film as much as we did making it.